Chosen one, you've been sensing it, haven't you? That strange pull inside your chest, soft at first, then insistent, as if the air itself were shifting, pressing against your ribs and whispering a wordless message you can't quite name. You try to brush it off, try to keep moving through the motions of what used to feel normal, but something deep inside is unraveling, something old, something false. And no matter how hard you try to go back to the version of life that once fit, like a second skin, you can feel it now. It doesn't fit anymore. It never did. You are not breaking, chosen one. You are awakening. There is a sacred reset stirring beneath your surface. A divine recalibration orchestrated not by chance, but by holy precision. And though it may look and feel like collapse, it is not destruction. It is a recreation. You've outgrown the shell you once called home, the identity you wore, the beliefs you clung to, the wounds you protected. None of it can pass through the threshold you now stand before. This is the crumbling before the calling, the stripping away of what is false so that what is eternal in you can rise. So if it feels like everything is slipping through your fingers, let it. If relationships feel distant, if plans fall apart, if familiar paths go dark, let them. Let what wants to go, go. You are not being abandoned, you are being summoned. What's falling apart was built on sand. What's being rebuilt now, that is the foundation of your soul's truest expression. And though the transition feels messy, lonely, even cruel, know this, it is holy. This reset isn't for everyone. That's why you feel so isolated. But you weren't made to fit in. You were made to lead, to awaken, to walk a path few would dare choose. And now that path is revealing itself not with flashing lights or grand declarations, but with the slow burn of inner knowing. A knowing that grows louder with every silence, clearer with every loss. You are not meant to carry the weight of who you used to be. The one who shrunk to make others comfortable, the one who performed instead of lived, the one who compromised their truth for the illusion of peace. That version of you served a purpose, but that purpose has been fulfilled. You are being asked to lay it to rest now, not with shame, with reverence, because even that old self, even those masks were stepping stones, bridges to bring you here. And here is sacred ground. Feel the ground beneath your feet. It's trembling not from fear, but from resurrection. You are stepping into new territory. The spiritual terrain ahead of you cannot be mapped. There are no signposts, no guarantees, only one compass, your truth. The voice that speaks not in words, but in resonance. And it's calling you deeper into the quiet, into the mystery, into yourself. You might feel the urge to run back to comfort, to numb the ache, to fill the silence with noise, but none of that will work anymore. The energies that once tolerated your hesitation have shifted. The reset is no longer a possibility, it's a reality, and it is already in motion. You feel it. When you wake up tired despite hours of sleep, you feel it when familiar faces start to feel unfamiliar. You feel it when the things that used to thrill you now leave you hollow. That's not depression, chosen one. That's detachment. Your soul is detaching from the life that no longer aligns with its design. You are being unplugged from the matrix of illusion. And it hurts. It hurts to see clearly. It hurts to know too much. It hurts to realize how long you've lived in survival, but you're not crazy, you're not broken, you're not behind, you're becoming, and becoming isn't comfortable. It's raw, it's disorienting. It requires you to walk through fire, not because you're being punished, but because you're being purified. Every delay you're experiencing is divine. Every silence you've endured is strategic. Every ending you didn't choose is protection disguised as loss. Let that sink in. The relationships that ghosted you, the doors that slammed shut, the plans that dissolved into dust. They were never meant to follow you where you're going. They were weight, not wings. And this reset requires wings. You will not soar by clinging to what grounded you. You will not awaken by defending who you were. You will not align by pretending you don't feel what you feel. Let the emotions rise. Let the tears fall. Let the frustration speak, not to wallow, but to cleanse. You've been holding back too long, swallowing too much, settling too often, and your soul is tired, not because you're weak, because you're ready. Ready for what's next. Ready for what's true. Ready for the version of you that doesn't apologize for being radiant, fierce, intuitive, divine, chosen one. Do you know what happens when you stop pretending? You stop attracting situations that ask you to. You stop tolerating crumbs because you remember you were made for the feast. You stop explaining your worth because you realize it's not up for negotiation. This is what the reset reveals, not just the lies around you, but the ones you told yourself. And it's not always pretty, but it's always necessary. You might feel stripped bare. Good, that means you're closer to your essence. You might feel like you're losing everything. Good, that means you're about to find what's real. You might feel completely alone. Good, that means you're finally ready to meet your own presence, because until now, you've been everything to everyone. You've carried burdens that weren't yours, fought battles that didn't belong to you, and forgot the sound of your own voice in the process. But not anymore. What if this moment wasn't random, but remembered? If something in you stirred, as you listened, if a sentence felt like it was written for you, then this reset is already alive within you. Don't just scroll past it. Let it anchor. Let it deepen. Comment below. What truth are you ready to reclaim? Like this video if it echoed within you. And subscribe, not just for more messages, but to walk this sacred path with others who feel it too. You're not here by accident. You're here because it's time. Now you return to yourself. And in that returning, you activate everything that's been waiting, your clarity, your power, your knowing. It doesn't rush in. It rises, subtle, sure, sacred. And as it rises, you will feel a new rhythm, one not tied to the world's timeline, but to your soul's pace. That pace may feel slow at first, but it's not delay, it's depth. This time, you're not just surviving. You're creating, rebuilding, remembering, and the version of you being formed in this fire. That version will not shrink, will not perform, will not beg. That version will lead, and when others see you rise, they will remember their own wings, because your reset is not just yours. It is a signal, a call, a beacon, and others will find their way home because you dared to rise. So keep going, keep trusting, keep surrendering. The path may be invisible now, but it is forming beneath your feet with every step. You are not lost. You are being led. And the one who leads you knows exactly who. You are becoming chosen one. What you're feeling right now, this strange sense that time is folding in on itself, that the world around you no longer makes sense the way it once did. It is not confusion. It is the veil lifting. The life you built, the plans you crafted, the comfort you wrapped yourself in, none of it was ever meant to last. It was scaffolding, temporary, a shell that held you only until your essence was strong enough to stretch beyond it. And now, the stretching has begun. That ache in your chest, that's not weakness. It's expansion. You're not breaking down. You're breaking open. Every disruption you face right now is not chaos, it's recalibration. What seems like delay is divine choreography. What appears as loss is a sacred liberation. And what feels like isolation, that is consecrated silence, clearing the static so you can finally hear the voice that matters most, your own. Do not be afraid of what's falling away. It was never you. It was the version of you shaped by fear, by scarcity, by obligation. That version survived, but it never truly lived. That version knew how to keep others happy, but never learned what joy actually felt like. That version was strong, but at the cost of softness. It was driven, but fueled by pain. And now, It's time to lay it to rest, not with bitterness, with gratitude that self carried you here, through fire, through silence, through dark nights when you thought no one saw you. But now, chosen one, something greater wants to be born through you. And for that to happen, the old must dissolve. This is not death, this is realignment. You may feel like nothing is certain anymore, and you're right, certainty is a luxury of the old world. In this sacred reset, the only thing certain is change, but that's where your soul thrives, because it remembers what your mind forgot, that you were never meant to live inside a cage of predictability. You were born to walk through mystery, with courage, with vision, with unwavering trust. That trust is your compass now, not logic, not memory, not comfort. Trust in what you feel when the noise is gone. Trust in the whispers that arrive when you're still. Trust in the quickening heartbeat that says yes before your mind finds the words. This is where it begins, the unraveling that reveals. And make no mistake, it will feel like loss. People will leave. Plans will dissolve. Opportunities you once begged for will vanish. Let them. Grieve them if you must. But do not chase them. Because chasing what is falling apart only delays what is rising. And something is rising in you. You feel it, even when you can't name it, even when you doubt it. There's a part of you that knows this isn't random, it's a summons. And the ones who are summoned are not given explanations. They are given invitations. Will you accept yours? Will you choose presence over panic? Stillness over control, trust over proof, because that's what this reset asks of you. To release your grip on what was, to surrender your fixation on what should be, and to step, barefoot and burning, into what is becoming. You might not have a map, but you have a fire, and that fire is enough. Let it burn away the lies you've lived inside. Let it illuminate the places you've hidden from your own gaze. Let it sear through the layers of conditioning that told you to be small, quiet, safe. You're not here to be safe. You're here to be sacred. You're not here to impress the world. You're here to embody truth. And truth, dear one, is not always beautiful. It is not always clean. Sometimes truth is a breaking. Sometimes it is a storm. Sometimes it is the shattering of everything you thought would last forever. Let it come, because when truth arrives, freedom follows. The kind of freedom that cannot be stolen, bought, or manufactured, the kind that rises from within. And this reset, it is a furnace. It will burn everything false from you, and in the ashes it will show you what has always been real, what no one could give you, what no loss can ever take. Your essence, your knowing, your power. You're beginning to remember now, aren't you? Not in your mind, but in your bones, in the way your body reacts to what drains you, in the way your heart flinches at falsehood, in the way your spirit rises when it hears words that resonate with your truth. This is not sensitivity. It is discernment. It is the gift of clarity returning, and clarity comes after collapse. So let the collapse happen. Don't resist the crumbling. Let what wants to fall, fall. Because beneath the ruins, something ancient waits. A blueprint, a divine instruction, a memory of who you were before the world taught you who to be. You are not meeting a new self. You are reclaiming your original one, the one who knew before knowing was taught, the one who felt before words were formed, the one who trusted. Without explanation, that self is not gone. It has been waiting, watching, whispering, and now it is rising. Chosen one. This is not the end. This is the emergence, and the ones who will walk with you in this new terrain. They will not need convincing. They will know you by frequency. They will speak in silence. They will hear you with their eyes, because they too have walked through fire. And they too have risen. So don't fear the loneliness. It is only temporary. The right ones will find you, not because you chase them, because you became yourself. That is the magnetic pull of truth. That is the gravity of authenticity. And it is stronger than any performance you could ever maintain. So let go. Let go of performing. Let go of pleasing. Let go of pretending. This reset does not require a better version of your mask. It requires your soul raw, unfiltered, radiant. Not because it is perfect, but because it is true. And truth, when embodied, becomes light. And light, your light, is what will guide the world home. So take a breath, not the shallow kind, a real one. A breath that reaches the bottom of your lungs. A breath that touches the bottom of your soul. Feel that? That's your power returning, not from outside of you, from within, where it has always been, waiting, patient, ready. The unraveling is almost complete. What comes next? That's where we go in part 3. Chosen one, do you feel it now? Not just as a thought in your mind, but as a heaviness in your body, as if something long hidden beneath the surface is beginning to rise, not slowly, not quietly, but urgently, as though it has waited 1,000 lifetimes for this moment to be released. This is the purge. This is the phase the world forgets to speak about, the sacred fire that scorches everything you thought you needed, everything you were taught to protect, everything you built to keep yourself safe. And it is not kind, but it is holy. You were not meant to carry the weight of yesterday into the promise of tomorrow. And so the reset comes like a storm, not to drown you, but to wash you clean. The heaviness you feel is not failure. It is the shedding of falsehood. It is the grief of letting go of a version of yourself you tried to love, even when it never truly fit. Let that version fall away now. Let the beliefs that kept you small disintegrate. Let the identities that were praised but never felt honest dissolve in the light of your truth. Because, chosen one, you cannot pretend anymore. Your soul won't let you. You may cry for no reason. You may feel exhausted without cause. You may sense a pressure inside you building without knowing why. That is your system purging what is no longer aligned. It's not weakness, it's awakening. This process is not intellectual. It is cellular, is spiritual, and the body remembers. It remembers all the times you silenced yourself to be accepted, all the times you said yes when your soul screamed no, all the times you buried your pain so others wouldn't feel discomfort. And now, it's coming out. It has to, because the frequency you're stepping into has no space for distortion. It only holds what is real, what is honest, what is yours. And that means anything borrowed, anything false, anything built on fear must go. Let it, even when it hurts, even when it makes no sense, even when part of you still clings to the comfort of what used to be. Because the cost of clinging now is your calling, and you were never meant to miss your calling. Not in this lifetime, not in this sacred hour. So if it feels like everything familiar is slipping through your fingers, that is by design. The old systems inside you of survival, of sacrifice, of self-denial are collapsing. They are being replaced by alignment, not perfection, not performance, just presence, true, radiant presence. That is what your soul has been craving all along, not a life that looks good, but a life that feels like truth. You were taught to pursue success. Now you're learning to embody significance. You were taught to seek validation. Now you're learning to stand in self-acceptance. You were taught to hustle. Now you're being asked to trust. This is not easy. No part of this is meant to be, but it is essential because you cannot carry artificial energy into authentic territory. And the territory you're walking into now, it is sacred, it is vast, and it is waiting for no one. The longer you delay, the deeper the ache, because delay is no longer safe. Delay is dissonance, and dissonance creates suffering. But surrender creates miracles. This is not about fixing yourself. This is about freeing yourself. Can you feel the difference? Fixing implies brokenness, But you are not broken. You are bound by ideas, by stories, by inherited pain that never belonged to you. And now, you are being unbound. Every wave of discomfort is loosening the rope. Every tear is softening the knot. Every honest breath is a blade cutting through illusion. Let the unraveling continue. It is making room. Room for clarity. Room for joy. Room for power. The power that has nothing to do with domination and everything to do with alignment. The kind of power that doesn't shout, but simply is. That power has always been inside you. It didn't arrive with success. It didn't come from praise. It didn't depend on proof. It came from source, and source never left you, even when you forgot, even when you doubted, even when you felt alone in the darkest night, surrounded by the ashes of what used to be. Chosen one, you were never abandoned. You were being prepared. You were being refined, because only those who have walked through the inner fire can hold this next level of light. And now, it is being placed in your hands. But your hands must be empty, your heart must be clear, your soul must be ready. So allow the purge to finish what it started. If your body asks for rest, give it. If your emotions rise, witness them. If your thoughts resist, thank them and let them go. This is not punishment. This is purification, and purity isn't perfection. It's presence without pretense. It's showing up real, showing up raw, showing up ready. No mask, no filter, just truth. And in that truth, the reset accelerates. You start to see through the noise. You begin to recognize what was never real. You lose your appetite for artifice. You stop engaging with anything that drains your light, not out of bitterness, but out of reverence. Because now, you understand what your energy is worth. Now you understand what you carry, and you will no longer offer that sacred essence to what cannot hold it. This is not arrogance, this is clarity, and clarity is holy. It doesn't scream, it simply knows. And because you know, you rise differently, you walk differently, you speak differently. Not because you're trying to prove anything, but because the truth within you is now louder than the lies around you, and it cannot be silenced again. You are remembering now. Not in your head, but in your being, and that memory is ancient, it is divine, it is sovereign. Let the purge complete its work. Let it cleanse what was never yours to carry. Because what's coming next? It requires space, it requires stillness, it requires surrender, and in that surrender you will find a peace that surpasses understanding, not the kind that numbs, the kind that anchors, not the kind that hides, the kind that reveals. This peace is not passive, it is power, the kind that moves mountains with a whisper, the kind that shifts timelines with a decision, and it is already stirring in you. Breathe into it. Welcome it. You are no longer who you were. And that is the point. You are being made new, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. Chosen one. You are not just being purified, you are being prepared. And what you're being prepared for, that's what we'll uncover in part 4. Chosen one. Can you feel what's shifting now? Not just in your outer world, but in your inner foundation. The purge has carved space inside you, and that space, that silence, that raw openness, it is not emptiness, it is the beginning of becoming. The noise that once filled your mind has quieted, the masks you wore so long have slipped, the obligations that clung to your back have unlatched. You're lighter now, not because life has become easier, but because you are no longer pretending. This is the emergence, not of something new, but of something true, something ancient, something eternal, something that has always waited beneath the surface of performance, survival, and conformity. Your true self, the self that remembers without trying, the self that trusts without seeing, the self that no longer argues with its own light. This emergence doesn't come with fireworks or applause. It arrives in whispers, in glimmers, in moments of still recognition. You look in the mirror, and for a second, you see yourself. Not the you that was shaped by expectations, not the you that was formed in reaction to pain, but the you that existed before the world told you who to be. And in that glimpse, something unlocks. The soul recognizes itself. The heart remembers its rhythm. The body feels like home again. Do not rush past this stage. It is delicate, sacred, like a flower just beginning to open. You've spent so long closed tight, protecting, preserving, performing. Let the petals unfold now, even if they shake, even if they stretch slow. This is not about speed, it is about truth. And truth doesn't arrive in a rush, it settles. It reveals itself in layers, and each layer that comes forward is you. Not the polished version, not the filtered version, the holy version, the one that breathes with the earth, that listens when nothing is said, that knows when everything else doubts. Chosen one, this self, the one emerging now, will not fit in the life you had. Do not be surprised when what once felt comfortable now feels tight. Do not mourn the loss of spaces that can no longer hold you. You are not shrinking anymore. You are expanding. You are becoming too real for artificial spaces, too deep for shallow waters, too awake for places built on pretending. Let them fall away. Not with anger, with honor, because those places served a purpose. They gave you contrast. They taught you what you are not, and now you walk toward what you are. You may find yourself craving simplicity, silence, stillness, not as a retreat, but as a return. You are not hiding anymore. You are grounding, rooting, listening. This emergence isn't loud, but it is powerful. And as your true self rises, so too does your clarity. You begin to see beyond the surface. You recognize the energy behind the words. You feel when something is off, even if it looks perfect. This is your intuition returning, sharpened, clear, undeniable. You can no longer unfeel what you feel. You can no longer unknow what you know. This is not the time to question yourself. This is the time to trust yourself, because your soul speaks not through logic, but through resonance. When something feels off, it is. When something feels alive, it is. Follow that. Follow the pulse of aliveness. It will not lead you where you expect, but it will always lead you where you belong. You may be tempted now to soften your truth again, to shrink back into comfort, to fit into the old roles, but they do not fit anymore. The edges cut you now, not because you've become difficult, but because you've become real. And realness has edges. Realness has weight. Not everyone will know what to do with that. Let that be okay. You were never meant for everyone. You were meant for the ones who see you and don't flinch, who hear your truth and don't look away, who meet your power and remember their own. And they are coming. As you emerge, so do they. This is the great gathering of awakened ones, not in temples, not in crowds, but in quiet connections, in knowing glances, in shared frequencies. The resonance will guide you. You won't have to chase. Just rise, just live. Just tell the truth of who you are. The right ones will find you there. This is the new path, not one of performance, but presence, not one of striving, but surrender. Not one of grasping, but allowing. The more you let yourself be seen as you are, the more life aligns with who you are. And the more you align, the less you tolerate distortion. Falsehood will repel you. Pretense will exhaust you. Anything less than truth will fall from your field. This is not loss. This is refinement. You are not losing people. You are losing patterns. You are not losing opportunities, you are losing illusions. What remains after the shedding is what's meant to remain, and what stays will be strong enough to grow with you. So let the real ones stay. Let the rest dissolve. Chosen one, your emergence is not accidental. It is part of a greater movement, a collective remembering. The earth is shifting, the veil is thinning, and the ones who were asleep are beginning to stir. But you are fully awake, and the world needs what you carry, not your mimicry, not your compromise. Your essence, your frequency, your voice, even if it trembles, even if it rises alone at first, speak it anyway, live it anyway. This is how the new begins, not in revolution, but in resonance, not in force, but in frequency. You are not just waking up for yourself, you are becoming the permission slip for others. Your emergence is the invitation, your alignment is the signal, your embodiment is the map. This is not about doing more, it is about being fully, and being in a world obsessed with doing is the most radical act there is. So breathe into your truth, root into your body, anchor into your knowing. This is your emergence. Let it unfold, let it deepen, let it lead. And as you rise, know this: you were never lost, you were buried, and now the soil has broken, the light is touching your skin. The voice is returning to your throat, and the real you is stepping forward. Welcome them, welcome you, because what comes next is what you were always meant to become. And that, chosen one, is where we go in part 5. Chosen one, the emergence is only the beginning. For now that you have remembered, now that you have risen from beneath the wreckage of who you used to be, something even deeper is being asked of you. Responsibility. Not the kind the world taught you, not obligation, not burden, not the weight of others' expectations on your shoulders, but divine responsibility, the kind that comes from knowing who you are and choosing to live from that truth, no matter what it costs. This is the part where your steps begin to shape the ground beneath them, where your words carry weight, not because they are loud, but because they are aligned. Where your presence becomes an answer to questions others have not yet learned to ask. This is the part where your becoming becomes service, not performance, not pleasing, but presence so real, so grounded in light, that it changes rooms just by entering. That is what you carry now, and that is what this world needs. Not more noise, not more speed, but anchors, truth-bearers, ones who remember, ones who walk slowly and speak clearly and live deeply, and you, chosen one, are among them. But this path is not paved. It is carved by your conviction, by your devotion, by your willingness to hold your integrity when it would be easier to abandon it. The reset did not happen so you could feel better. It happened so you could become better, not in the eyes of the world, but in the alignment of your soul. It happened so that your essence could lead, not your ego. It happened so that you could finally walk as one with the divine current moving through you, and now that current demands embodiment, not concept, not ideas, but action. This is where the truth you've reclaimed is tested, not by punishment, but by invitation. Will you speak your truth even when your voice shakes? Will you stand alone if necessary? Will you walk away from what no longer honors your frequency, even if it offers comfort? These are not small questions. They are sacred gateways. They are the thresholds between old timelines and new, and each choice you make from here, each yes, each no, each pause, each pivot, they carry the power to shift not just your life, but the lives of all who cross your path. This is the gravity of the responsibility you now hold. It is not weight, it is purpose, but purpose is not always easy. Sometimes it asks you to break patterns that your ancestors could not. Sometimes it asks you to say no to what your former self would have begged for. Sometimes it asks you to walk away, not because you're ungrateful, but because you're finally awake, and you cannot unknow what you now know. You cannot fit back into what you've outgrown. You cannot betray yourself and call it love. Not anymore. Not ever again. So if the path feels lonely, if the decisions feel heavy, if the silence grows louder than the noise ever did, know that you are not failing. You are feeling. You are listening. You are honoring the voice that once had to scream to be heard. Now it speaks in whispers, and you obey. Because that is what it means to be chosen, not chosen to be above, but chosen to be within the flow, within the truth, within the heartbeat of something so much larger than your past, your story, your name. This isn't about building a life, it's about embodying a legacy, one that cannot be measured by status or titles, but by energy, by impact, by how deeply your presence touches the unseen. And that means you must walk differently now. You must live as if your frequency is sacred, because it is. You must protect your peace, not from fear, but from reverence. You must make your life an altar, not just in stillness, but in every breath. And in doing so, others will rise, not because you told them to, but because you showed them what is possible. Your light is not a command, it is a remembering. Your alignment is not a rule book, it is a mirror. Those who are ready will look into it and see themselves more clearly. Those who are not will look away. Let them. You are not here to convince, you are here to become. And becoming requires focus. It requires boundaries. It requires truth so unwavering, so rooted that not even the loudest storms can shake it. The winds will come, but you will not bend the same way, not anymore. You may sway, you may cry, but your roots run deeper now, and what holds you is not surface-level identity, but soul. That soul is ancient. It has traveled far. It has watched lifetimes unfold, rise, collapse, and reassemble. And it chose to be here, now. To walk this reset not as a victim of collapse, but as a vessel for rebirth. Chosen one, you are not the result of what has happened to you. You are the response, the living answer, the embodied yes to a divine question. And that yes has power, so much more than you realize. Every time you choose alignment over approval, you shift reality. Every time you honor your truth instead of silencing it, you dissolve illusion. Every time you hold compassion where judgment once lived, you open a new path forward for the collective. This is divine responsibility, and it is not always visible, but it is always valuable. Your inner work is your outer contribution. Your healing is your offering. Your truth is your legacy. You don't have to build an empire to change the world. You only have to embody your essence and let that essence ripple out in every step, every word, every breath. That's how the new earth is built, not through domination, through alignment, not through force, through frequency, not through noise, through stillness. And that stillness now lives in you. Do you feel it, that quiet certainty, that steady knowing, that deep hum beneath your skin? It is not confidence born from validation. It is conviction born from remembrance, and it will guide you through every test, every turning point, every threshold. You don't have to know what's next. You only have to trust who is walking it, and who is walking it is finally you, the real you, the sacred you, the one who no longer reaches outward for truth, but pulls it forth from within. Let that be enough. Let that lead. Let that light the way, not just for you, but for all who are searching in the dark for what you now carry. You are not just in a reset. You are becoming the reset. And what that fully means awaits in part 6. Chosen one, you've come far. Through the undoing, through the stripping, through the rising, and now what remains is truth. Not spoken truth, not taught truth, but lived truth. You've passed through layers of illusion, some loud, some quiet. You've faced the discomfort of letting go. You've watched who you thought you were dissolve, and now you stand bare, open, still. This is not the end. This is the entry into essence. The final descent into truth is not a fall. It is a returning to the beginning, to what you were before they named you. Before fear, before masks, before forgetting. In this place, everything feels silent, but don't confuse silence with absence. This is where the divine no longer speaks in signs, but in stillness. This is where you are no longer waiting for clarity. You are walking as it. There is nothing more to prove, nothing more to perform. What remains is to live from your center, fully, freely, fiercely. You don't need to ask permission anymore. You don't need to fit. You are no longer carrying the weight of being understood. Because now you understand. Your life is not a performance, it is a pulse. And that pulse resets everything it touches. You are the reset now, not the one it happened to, the one it happens through. This is divine responsibility, not pressure, not burden, but sacred agreement. To stand in your knowing, to speak only when truth rises, to walk away when your soul recoils. This is power, not control, but clarity. You are not the result of your past, you are the revelation of your presence, and that presence speaks without words. It realigns rooms, it softens chaos, it awakens sleeping hearts, not by effort, by frequency, so let them feel it, even when they don't understand it, even when they misread it, even when they walk away from it. Let them. You were never here to be received by all. You were here to be faithful to truth. You are not separate from the divine anymore. You are the embodiment of it, not because you are perfect, but because you are real. And in this realness, there is rest. No more running, no more reaching, no more reshaping yourself to fit illusions that can't hold your soul. This is your arrival, not to a destination, to yourself. Breathe here. Feel what peace feels like when it no longer depends on outcomes. Feel what strength feels like when it no longer requires resistance. Feel what clarity feels like when it no longer asks to be validated. This is the stillness you've been craving. It was never ahead of you. It was always within you. Now that you've touched it, you'll never need to chase again. What belongs will flow, what's true will stay, and what is aligned will recognize you without effort. This is how you'll know. This is how you'll choose. This is how you'll lead, not by shouting, by standing, not by convincing, by becoming. So rise quietly, steadily, without rush. Because the truth is not coming. The truth is already here, and it looks like you.